Almost ready. Okie dokie.
Let's roll.
All right, let's do it. Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 94 of the Warrior House podcast, closing in on April.
March just feels done. Not now that both
Yeah,
Michigan State are done with basketball. Wayne State's unfortunately been done with basketball for a minute. Also, unfortunately, Grand Valley women won the national championship, so anchor
they
down.
did.
But
They
maybe
did.
there is a thing. I don't know if this is a thing, but I thought I heard that like in Division One, when a conference opponent wins national championship, is there like a payout or something? And does that happen in Division Two?
That'd be nice.
We would take some of that. We'll gladly take some of your money, but yeah, anchor down.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that was a good team. We knew it.
Yeah.
As much as it hurt to say, they were a very good team. So, yeah, that's that. But yeah, we're basically out of March. It's hard to believe. It feels like it just started not that long ago, but this year just keeps moving right along. And
Yep.
it really starts to feel like it's April when we get to talk about the sports that we're about to talk about, which is basically all outdoor sports at this
Yeah.
point. So that certainly is when the calendar feels like it turns a little bit. So let's talk about it, Sig. So let's talk about golf to start. We actually did get to do a little golfing this weekend. Not out on a course. We're not good enough yet. We need to dial it in a little bit.
We need
But
some more
starting
time in the
out
lab.
just a little bit. The last time we talked on episode 93, the men's golf team, they were finishing up the Finley Spring Invite. They had one more round to go. And in that tournament, they ended up second place, just 4 strokes behind Missouri S&T, who ended up winning that one. And for the record, put this one in your memory bank for a second. Missouri S&T is ranked number 18 in the country for D2 men's golf. So good stuff from the Wayne State men's team. They didn't have a lot of time off. They headed right to Ashland, Ohio, actually on the way back from Richmond, Kentucky. I think this Finley Spring Invite was in. But so the team stopped in Ashland for the Ashland Invite over the weekend, and we won the whole thing by 9 strokes ahead of the second place team, Missouri S&T. So just when they got us in the last tournament, we really, really doubled down on this one and we were able to get it there. So really good stuff across the board from our men's golf team. Huge shout out to Josh DiCarlo, who finished number 1 overall individually. Max Leppelmeyer finished tied for 26th. Tied for 6th. Luke Warnock finished tied for 9th. And a new name I don't believe we've talked about, and I know this because we had to look up the pronunciation. Tyler Herchabees ends up getting number 3 overall for individuals in this tournament. So yeah, you counted that right. 4 different Wayne State golfers in the top 10 here, and that's good enough. That's going to win you some tournaments when that happens.
Yeah, and it just goes to show, like, with golf, because of how, well, obviously different courses are different, that a Wayne State team against, well, the same opponent, Missouri S&T, they're 4 strokes ahead of them the previous competition. Now they're winning by, what did you say, 9? Yeah, 9 strokes uh, ahead of them in this one. So awesome stuff from Wayne State. Uh, Again, a team that I think we've had pretty high expectations for. They've had some really good years in the past, and they're just keeping on building that foundation right now.
They certainly are. So good stuff from them. Very, very busy week of being on the road. I assume the whole time, which is,
Right.
whew, that's a lot, but it's part of the game. So also another outdoor sport. That's kind of our theme. Is that's where we're at. The Wayne State softball team was in a lot of action over the last week. They had three doubleheaders. Started back on Wednesday, they took on Saginaw Valley, and Wayne State was able to split this series. They dropped the first game 1-13, but they came right back later in that day and won the second game by a final score of 8-3. Rolling into Friday, the team was on the road. They headed out to Chicago area to take on Roosevelt, and Wayne State swept that doubleheader. One game one 6-4, game two 9-3, and then closing out the trip, really over the last week, just headed up to Wisconsin to take on Parkside. And that was also a split series. Wayne State drops the first game 1-10, but they were able to come back and win 3-2. So I'll say it, Sangster. You come out of those 6 games, all conference opponents with 4-2 record. That's pretty neat. And especially with 4 of those 6 games happening away, very, very away. That's cool to see.
Yeah, and already out the gate, you've got a winning week to start out with to begin, just about begin GLIAC play. Uh, Quick note here is that Saginaw Valley is the GLIAC preseason favorite to win in the conference this year. They came into this matchup 2-0. First game got them the 3-0, but Wayne State hands them their first GLIAC loss of the season. Something to be said for that. And overall, just a nice series, I think, for Wayne State being able to come out of this week above 500.
Yeah, good shout out there because yeah, Saginaw Valley I know is generally a pretty high up there softball school, and we split with them. I mean, regardless of where we are, splitting with them feels like that should be the goal. But also for the softball team, we've talked about that. Like if they can be around 500, that's an improvement over the last couple of seasons, and they're really trending up. They did a number this last trip, which is great to see. So I love seeing them start to get a little bit better in the standings and the rankings and all that, and they've been fun to follow. I promise I will start looking into some of the stats here, saying so I don't know if you have any pulled up, but I definitely want to start to look into some of the individuals on the softball team, figure out who we should be keeping our eye on, who's been doing damage so far this year. It's just been a lot of basketball.
Yeah, it's a little tough right now, at least with the softball team this week, coming off of uh, those 2 splits. Just it is odd that those first games in each of them uh, were how should I think being nice is that they were not great games for Wayne State at all, only scoring 1 run. And getting scored double digits on. But then in those second games, that they have only holding their opponents to what, 3 runs, 2 runs, scoring 8 in that one against Saginaw Valley, scoring 3 enough to win against Parkside. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a pattern yet, or if it's maybe something has to be changed up with the uh, pitching rotation. But uh, all we know right now is that Wayne State at least has come out ahead, and we'll talk about it next time. But they are at 500 in the conference and 1 game under overall.
Yeah, so shaping up to be a pretty good start to the season. There's still plenty to go, so we'll talk about them here in the second half. They got another busy week, and I think that's just kind of the theme of how their season goes. So also over the last weekend, the Wayne State baseball team was in action. They had a 4-game weekend series at Purdue Northwest over there in Hammond, Indiana. And we talked about this series, a 4-game series again. And we said, well, I said, I think Wayne State needed to at least go 3-1. That had to be the expectation here. And, and I also agreed with Sangster that, a 4-0 record, basically sweeping the series would be extremely nice and should not be out of question. So rough start for this one though. Wayne State dropped game one of this series 8-9 in extra innings. So we were close to being able to get that win, a hard fought game by Purdue Northwest, but they were able to just sneak that one out in the 10th inning.
Yep.
And then the rest of the games, Wayne State won the rest of them. Game number two, Wayne State wins that one 10-6. Game three, which was this was a doubleheader on Saturday with game two and game three. Wayne State wins that one 13-4, and then game four was postponed. I assume for weather, because weather rolled through here on Saturday on Sunday as well. So
Yeah.
I just have to assume the storm rolled through there, and they postponed that one. I did not see it on the calendar to see when it got rescheduled to, but that's the only thing that kept us from probably 3-1 is like the game just wasn't played. So
Right.
I don't know. It's funky that I don't feel as good about a 2-1 series as I would a 3-1, but we didn't really have the opportunity there.
Right. It is a series win. We'll have to see when that game gets rescheduled for and what this team might be looking like at that point in time. That first game that they played, Wayne State was down early, 7-0, at the end of the second inning, and they slowly built back, came back from that. They had tied the game up in the seventh, and Wayne State was actually ahead at the top of the 10th. Unfortunately, Purdue Northwest had a two-run walk-off. Or yeah, they had a walk-off at the end of the 10th inning. So tough one there. One name I did notice from the second set of games, the doubleheader, is Jacoby Dale. He was the top player I saw come across the stat sheet in those two, and he did have a pretty solid day. He in the first game he was 2 for 4, uh, 3 RBIs, 1 run scored himself. On the second day he was 3 for 4, 4 runs scored himself, and 1 RBI. So he had a pretty solid weekend, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yep.
Good find there.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll keep our eye out for if that Purdue Northwest, if that fourth game happens. I did happen to look ahead. We only have the one series against them for the whole season, so maybe at some point one of the teams will be driving through the area and be able to fit it into the schedule. I don't
Right.
really understand. I don't know exactly how all of that will shape out, but nonetheless, a winning away series for the Wayne State baseball team over that 3 games. Also, track and field happened, and there were 2 events over 3 days. So there was a lot of action that happened here. None of these were team scored events, so it was all individual or event scoring or placing, what have you, times and all that. So a couple notes that we got on this one, thanks. So Reagan Justice set a new school record for the 10K. Kanisha Thomas set a new school record for the 400-meter hurdles, and Nicole Warren won the triple jump and placed second in the long jump. Now, for a number of these events, I actually don't remember off the top of my head how many of these happened at the Texas State Bobcats Invitational, but I looked it up and it was anybody listening, think of a D1 school. They were probably at this event. That's how big this one was. So pretty enormous on there. Saw a lot of Big Ten teams in there. So like seeing that Reagan Justice, I think, got sixth place in the 10,000 meter. Like I just said, Nicole Warren just was podium finished for her 2 events. And then
Yep.
Kanisha Thomas setting a school record. I believe she was also in the top 10 for her event, if I'm not mistaken. Um, really cool stuff. I mean, huge events for these teams, and they just continue to show up. And some of these individuals just are continue to set school records. And Reagan Justice also set a provisional record or a provisional time with that 10K.
Yeah, really excellent stuff. Reagan has set a number of school records this year, but to see her get a 10K now, I know she's had the 5K in the indoor season. She just keeps stacking them up.
Yeah, no kidding. So good stuff from track and field. We breezed right past baseball and didn't even mention opening days coming up later on this week. So by the time you're listening to this, it might have already happened. But if you're listening when we drop the episode Friday, that'll be fun. So go
Yep.
Tigers. Also, shout out. We don't talk about football, but Michigan Panthers. We're big. We enjoy following them. They had their first game also this weekend for spring football, and yeah, it's full on spring, thanks to
Yep. It is spring, April in the D. So next up, we've got the tennis squads. Both were facing the same opponents. The men's tennis team was facing Davenport on Friday, and they got the win 6-1. They smoked the Davenport Panthers. Uh, Wayne State started out winning the doubles point. Pretty much a given with this team. Cedric Drenth and George Day won it, and Tom Wazner and Sam Knowles also got their doubles point. And just for the record, because I don't know when or why they decide to play some of the doubles matches or all of them, but it looks like Lewis Klaus and Benjamin Hill won it as well. So they just swept that doubles point, but you really just need two out of the three teams to get that single point. And then looking at the singles matches, the only Wayne State player to lose looks like it was George Day, but that was also forced into a third set. So otherwise, Wayne State functionally swept the Panthers.
Yeah, that one, the Davenport Panthers. Yeah, the George Day one looks a little bit interesting. I wonder if something happened in that one because he shut out his opponent in the first set, and then
Yep.
after that, it got a little bit rough. So it does make me think. Hopefully, nothing major happened in there. Hopefully, it was just he wasn't feeling it that day. I don't know, whatever it needs to be. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, every one of our, pretty much every one of those single events were done in the second set and pretty convincingly too. So a win that you needed, and Davenport came in with a 13-5 overall record. So you know, whoever they played, they still got 13 out of 18 wins. So there's something to be said about that. So a good quality conference win there. And then rolling right into Saturday for the Wayne State men's tennis team, they take on Grand Valley, who is at the Duchesne facility. And Grand Valley won this one 4-3. And it was a bummer. I was following this one a little bit, and I saw that the Wayne State men's tennis team dropped the doubles point there. They were able to get one of the wins, but dropped the other two, like you were just talking about, Sangster. And the one that made the difference in this one was Cedric Drenth and the George Day. That one went to extra points in the one solo set that they play for these doubles events, and that went to ended up being a 7-6 final. So, if we win that one, of course you don't know that these are the first events that happen in the whole match, but that one made the difference because if we get that win and everything else goes the way that it did, Wayne State beats Grand Valley, and that's something we can all celebrate. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Yeah, on paper, it looks like these two teams are pretty similar. Grand Valley came in ranked number 21. Wayne State's ranked number 18. So close in rankings, and you can see that's what the score sheet tells you is that you flip one singles match here, and even one of the doubles matches also went into uh, an extra set too, alongside with Cedric Drenth himself in his singles match. Likewise, had to go into that third set with that super tiebreaker thing. So
Right.
this one could have gone both ways. Flip a coin. Unfortunately, it was Grand Valley's day that day.
Yep, 100%. So, bit of a bummer. You're at home on your court in your facility, place that you're familiar with, taking on a conference opponent that, if you want to be the top team in the GLIAC, which I know the Wayne State men's tennis team wants to be, that's probably one they have to win. But that being said, they're going to have. I actually haven't looked that far ahead to know if they're going to have another shot at Grand Valley in tennis or not. But hopefully they do, and if they don't, then somewhere along the GLIAC tournament, I'm sure there'll be chances to come across them again. But yeah, they were close in this one, and maybe they, like you said, a couple things go a different way, and we're talking about a Wayne State win there. So
Yep.
flipping over to the Wayne State women's tennis team, they took on the exact same opponents, starting out against Davenport. Wayne State won 7-0. It was a couple of the singles events went into the third set, but outside of that, really, this was a shutdown win for this Wayne State women's tennis team. Won every single doubles match, won every singles match, and like I said, Anas Racine and Malik Arafat are the only ones that ended up going into the third set in their singles matches. And there you go. I mean, it's all you need. So it will definitely one of those. Like I see a couple on here. It was like 6-0, 6-0. I see a 6-1. So it was really not close in this one, Sangster.
It doesn't look like it was.
So good stuff there. And then rolling into Saturday, the Wayne State women's tennis team also took on Grand Valley. Grand Valley according to the Wayne State site right now, which I believe is from the ITA. Grand Valley came in ranked number 28, Wayne State number 32, and Wayne State won 5-2. Big time win here, gets the doubles point. Anna Isracine, Malik Arafat, Dea Gorgitz, and Martina Spikovska all get the singles wins. A couple of third set victories in there, but this one looked pretty comfortably in Wayne State's hands here. So that definitely feels good.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same deal with both these teams. We expect a lot out of both of them. We know that with the men's team, it was going to be interesting coming in, not returning, quote, a lot of production. But with this women's team, they just keep rolling. We know what they are. It's largely been the same team for the past few years. So it's always a great day to get a win over Grand Valley State, and they were able to pull this one out.
Yeah, that's a good one for them. They definitely jump up in the standings a little bit and try to prove themselves as being one of the probably one of the top. We'll have to see. We'll have to take a look at the standings. I know we'll be talking about that here a little bit in the second half, but they're starting to solidify themselves. And we'll say it, we'll continue to say it. This is why these teams go and play the teams that they play early in the season in the very nice warm weather. Come on back. I'm sure they're dying to get outside to be able to play outside since at this point that probably is what feels familiar to them, but they're starting to really solidify themselves as a top contender for the GLIAC.
Absolutely, and we're hoping for the best through the rest of the GLIAC season. And last but not least, the volleyball team had a home scrimmage against the University of Michigan Wolverines of Dearborn, and we hope that they had fun.
Yeah, exactly. Good
Yep.
spring season for volleyball. Yeah, there's no stats. I wish, and that's fine. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's the purpose of these events. So,
Because
and
we
there's
know
not
that
really
it
any
would just
reason,
be big Wayne State sweeps.
pretty much. So, that's what we had over the last week. Thanks for lots of stuff, lots of outdoor events, and we have a lot more of that coming up here in the second half of this episode. So, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Yay.
Yeah. I think I made that up. Unless it was. Did we have a I just did the same thing that you did, by the way. I
Hmm.
scrolled down for Wayne State baseball and they're playing Finley, and I saw fifth, third field, and I'm like, what? No. Um, did we have a series against Finley that got like weathered out or something?
We may have.
Because we have a very funky schedule. We have 3 games coming up, and they're like one a week. Not even. There's one tomorrow, one the Tuesday after, and then one the very last Tuesday of April.
I do remember. Yeah, I remember looking this up that the yeah, I remember seeing that the home opener was going to be like this Tuesday, but then the real opening day for the at least with GLIAC play would be later
I see.
in the week.
I see.
Yeah, I don't understand why there's two fifth third fields in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Because in Toledo it is fifth third field. It's not like fifth third park, is it?
It might be fifth, third. No, I think you're right.
We have nope. It's fifth third field.
Oh, jeez.
Wikipedia doesn't even have a like a not to be confused with fifth third field in Finley,
Mm,
which also say that like way too fast.
fifth, third, and Finley. Fifth, third field and Finley.
Yeah, fifth third field Finley. The one in Finley, the outfield is very symmetrical.
Hmm.
Kind of like I always like the like 50s and 60s baseball stadiums for that, but most people don't.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh God. They made Fifth Third Field in Toledo look way cooler than it looks. Like
Oh,
the
like
place is really cool.
the first picture on Google Images with like the cool
The skyline,
the
the river,
twilight
and all
sky.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been to Toledo when the sun was out. It's always cloudy.
Yeah, that feels about right.
Alrighty.
Same with like Ferris. I can't recall ever going to the few games we've been to at Ferris have always been great.
Ugh. Yeah, it sounds right. Let me get some stats pulled up for baseball and softball just to have at my disposal.
Oh yes, the Ken Partridge Invitational held at Purgatory Golf Course because that's what you name a golf course.
It's in Noblesville, Indiana.
You're not going to believe this. We get to play Missouri University of Science and Technology again.
Oh, color me shocked.
We get to face off against pretty much all the exact same teams we've been playing,
Yeah,
which is fine.
we'll keep winning. Ugh. There were two deer right outside the window.
Them deer, they're here.
Are you ready?
I think we're ready.
Let's do it. And we're back. Starting out baseball, Wayne State baseball team currently at a 12-14 overall record. They are 2-1 in the conference play. Very early so far, but nonetheless, very much into the season. We got some opening days come up, Sangster.
We do. First on Tuesday, April 1st, not April Fool's Day. They have a home opener against Finley. They come in with a record of 14-11 and 7-3 in the GMAC conference. They've been playing a lot of games already.
Yes, they have. And then rolling right into the weekend, there's a 4-game home series. So generally, how these baseball series works, for those listening who may not know, conference play, it seems like there's usually one Friday game, two doubleheader on Saturday, and then one game on Sunday. And that's what we have coming up. So if you want to watch some baseball, if the weather holds up, or even if it doesn't, you still want to go, please go. But the Wayne State baseball team takes on Roosevelt. They come in with a 7-20 overall record, and they are 1-7 in conference play so far. Rough start. I'll say it. We got to sweep that one. That feels like
Yeah.
go win those 4 games. And beat Finley while you're at it. Let's win 5 games over the next week and feel good about it.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Show them that the GLIAC is the GLIAC for a reason. And second, Roosevelt, what more can you say? It's Roosevelt. You're at home. It's your opening weekend for Harwell Field against an opponent that, yeah, you should beat.
Yeah,
Pretty.
I did say I want to get some stats in there, so I wanted to call out Bennett Hitzelberger so far this season is rated about a 400 average. A couple of home runs in there. He leads the team in RBIs. He's perfect on his stolen base attempts, so that's pretty cool. Looks like he's right up there with the slugging percentage. And then looking over at the pitching side of things, I know one of the names we mentioned was Ethan Getling. I believe he was the GLIAC pitcher of the week 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He's currently at a oh Jesus, a little bit over a 4 ERA, 4 runs earned run average. There it is. We're gonna get into baseball time. It's gonna take me a bit, but I'll get there. But otherwise, Maceo Miller, Gabe Nazel, Nazelli are the leading pitchers for Wayne State, both at about 26 innings pitched so far. But yeah, I mean, the number's a little bit higher when you see something like a 4 or a 5 ERA. This is college. I think we talked a little bit about it last time that as you get closer into the majors, for whatever reason, like the pitching and just the way the game is played and how the fielding is all done, it just nets to be fewer runs allowed. That's not so much the case in uh, college baseball, as we just saw. Like in the last week, Wayne State baseball and most of the games scored right around 10 runs. So you can give a little bit in this one. And yeah, so so far, stats are looking pretty good, even though the team's a little bit below 500 right now. They took on some pretty good competition there. So I think the numbers are kind of lacking a little bit there. So we'll see as we get into exclusively conference play how those numbers change.
Yeah, at this point, really can't change what was done in the non-conference, but there's an opportunity now. Season's just beginning in GLIAC play, and certainly a chance to go out there and show that Wayne State baseball is still one of the best teams in the conference, if not the nation.
Yep, 100%.
So on the softball side of things, right now they are 16-17 and 5-5 in the GLIAC. For the record, last year they won 17 games. 9 of those were in the GLIAC. all last season. They're one win away from tying their number of wins from last season. And this weekend, they have an opportunity to get the same amount of GLIAC wins or exceed that uh, over these next three uh, double headers. So first on April 2nd, they have a two home series against Tiffin. They come in with a record of 23-9 and 7-1 in the GMAC. Pretty good GMAC squad coming in. Next on April 5th, they have a two-game home series against Grand Valley. Comes in at an even 500, 15-15, but 6-2 in the conference. And lastly, on April 6th, they have a two-game home series against Purdue Northwest. Comes in with a record of 7-20-1 overall and a 2-6 GLIAC record. I have been looking at some of the stats here, at least in conference play so far. There's not a whole lot yet, but so far it looks like Wayne State is right in the middle when it comes to batting average. They're 4 out of 8. Unfortunately, pitching right now isn't quite where they want it to be. As a whole, Wayne State has a 5.29 ERA.
Yeah, one of the other things I was just kind of searching up here to see if I could find any news because, right off the bat, uh, Riley
Yeah.
Josephson has been out for for a number of weeks. I think the last game she played was on March 8th. I have
Mhm.
not seen any news about what's happening there, but average wise, she was the hitter for this team coming in with 50 or 577 average, which is crazy high. Like that's such a good number there. But then the other player, Logan Foreman, looks like she's one that just swings for the fences. She's at a little over a 300 average so far. Slugging percentage is pretty high up there, but she leads with 5 home runs, a number of extra base hits in there. So, if there's one thing that I kind of just learned as I was kind of looking through this is it seems like we might be without our best batter so far. And maybe she's also one of our better fielders. I haven't looked at those stats yet, but hoping we can get her back. Don't know what the situation is there. I'm a little bit ignorant on this situation, but nonetheless, I mean, I think it's pretty impressive that yeah, we're miles ahead of where this team was last season. When we
Yeah.
talked with oh, softball coach, help me out saying some.
Nicole Tynes.
Nicole Tynes, thank you. When we talked with her, she's even said that herself. She's like, we have last season, we're not where we want to be. We want to be so much better than that. We want to be in contention for a lot. And they're certainly working towards that. A little bit of work to do. Got to make sure some things go their way in conference play, put their best foot forward, make sure they stay healthy or get healthy if
Yep.
that's the case there. And just go out there and, win your series at home, even if it's win 3 games out of the 4 game series. Try to split on the road, but like don't and then they're going to be in a good spot, I think.
I think so too. Fun fact, they have hit the most triples in GLIAC play so far with 7 out of the rest of the conference.
Got some speed in there. Yeah,
They
and then
do.
yeah, I know you mentioned pitching. It looks like Grace Fisher so far is kind of looks like she's probably one of our leading pitchers so far at an ERA of 3.17, 3.17. So, not anything terrible. Actually, honestly, probably a pretty good number to be honest with you. It's also a lot of scoring happens in softball there. So if she can continue to hold it down the way she has been, and some of those other pitchers can continue to improve. Sydney Long, especially, I believe she was the a GLIAC softball pitcher of the week, the very first week of the season. Yeah, good stuff though.
Yeah, right now Grace Fisher has a even 3 ERA. She has also pitched the most innings out of any pitcher in the conference so far at 35.
Yeah, pretty good stuff there. So
Yep.
I like it. We'll be able to keep watching. Now when we see these names come up, we'll be able to remember. And also for everybody listening, that these are names that we're following now. They'll get to be familiar, and hopefully we can continue to talk about them as they improve on the season. Tennis, Sangster. We're on to tennis. The Wayne State women's tennis team comes in with a 6-3 overall record. They are 3-0 in conference play, and they get to head away for a little while. Hopefully, by the time they get to the Upper Peninsula, the snow's kind of cleared up a little bit because they got smoked.
Yeah.
Um, but the women's tennis team, they
Bridge is
start.
okay too. That I just saw something on X where it's like this is the most ice that has ever been on the bridge before.
Yeah, I also saw that the St. Ignace side of the bridge lost power. So
Mhm.
half the bridge was lit up and half wasn't. So really interesting. So the Wayne State women's tennis team heads up to Sault Ste. Marie to take on Lake Superior State. Lake Superior State is 5-6 overall, and they are 2-2 in conference play. Following that up, they get to head really, really far away. I don't know how this scheduling worked out the way that it did, but the tennis team also heads to Michigan Tech on Saturday. Michigan Tech comes with a record of 4-4 overall, 2-1 in conference play, and we can call it what it is. These are two wins that this team can be able to go out and win. I mean,
Yeah.
we there's really no reason for me to think that we're not able to go and get a very difficult road trip, but be able to come back with 2 wins.
Yeah, these are just games that we expect to win, and I think they're going to come away with it.
Yep, I completely agree.
And on the
The men's
men's,
tennis team, go ahead, Sangster, take it away. We talked at the same time.
yep, they come in with a 10-5 record. They're 1-1 right now, still ranked number 18 by the ITA. I don't think we have updated numbers yet. Unfortunately, they don't have another shot at Grand Valley until the GLIAC tournament starts. Uh, how it's going to work is that there's going to be 3 more weeks of tennis, and then the GLIAC tournament is at the end of the month. So they're going to be playing each GLIAC member just once throughout the season, and just coin flip whether it's home or away. And this time it's going to be away, just like the women. On Friday, they're going to Lake Superior State and Sault Ste. Marie. Lake Superior State comes in with a record of 7-3 and 2-1. And then on Saturday, same opponent again, Michigan Tech in Houghton. They've got a record of 3-5 and 1-1. So same deal here with the as with the women's side. Men's tennis, it's a long road trip, but go out there and handle your business and go get these 2 wins, I think.
For sure. I was gonna actually look up the ITA rankings. I don't think Lake Superior State is even with the record that they have, I don't think they're gonna be as high up as the Wayne State men's tennis team is. But
I
I'm
don't.
with you. I think this is these are two win weekends. I don't know however you want to say that. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I
Sweeps.
feel like I got no sleep. Yep, there you go. So that's what we got there. The Wayne State volleyball team, they have a Saturday home spring tournament. There's going to be volleyball happening there. It's going to be fun for those in attendance, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
The Wayne State women's track and field team is also going to be on the road, but not that much on the road. They're just heading up to Oakland University for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies Invitational. I actually, Sangster, you may already be looking it up. I did
Actually,
not find out who's going to be at this tournament.
oh, you were
That's
just
not
about
what
to
you were
say
going to
you
look
did.
up.
That's okay. Uh, Invitational. Let's see if they've got a new one. And nope, I don't see anything yet. So
Oh, get it together, Oakland.
yep.
But nonetheless, continuing to, I have a feeling I'm going to manifest it that we're going to talk next week and we're going to be talking about more school records. Maybe provisional time in there. Not sure yet, but I feel like we could have another school record set. It just feels like that's just the way that this team is going and they're continuing to boost each other, and that's going to keep happening.
Yeah, no doubt this team this year just feels like every single meet they go out, somebody new is setting a school record. Uh, and hopefully it'll be able to translate towards the GLIAC championships and hopefully towards stuff going on for NCAA as well.
Absolutely. I will let you take golf because you get to say one of your favorite named places I think that
Yes.
any of our teams go to.
So this is going to be Sunday through Tuesday at the Ken Partridge Invitational in Noblesville, Indiana. But this is one of those courses that I think just has a really interesting name at the Purgatory Golf Course or Golf Club in Noblesville, Indiana. And we do have a listing of who's going to be there. And it's pretty much the same teams that Wayne State has been facing these past few invitationals they've been at. So same names: Lewis University, Quincy, Hillsdale, Marysville or Maryville, no S in there, University of St. Louis, UIndy, Missouri S&T, who Wayne State just beat, Grand Valley, Drury, uh, University of Illinois at Springfield, Purdue Northwest, Rockhurst, Parkside, McKendree, Northwood, Tiffin, Ferris, Wayne State, Davenport, Ashland, and Kentucky Wesleyan.
Every Midwest team, basically.
Pretty
Every
much.
Midwest D2 golf team will be in attendance for that one.
Yeah, and so far Wayne State has had some pretty excellent showings at these ones they've been at so far, and just looking to continue that in Indiana.
I, excuse me. I did happen to look up the ITA regional rankings for men's golf. Grand Valley in Midwest, or Central, I think is what it's called. Don't quote me on that. Grand Valley is number one. I believe Missouri S&T is number two. Missouri St. Louis is number three. And then I believe Wayne State's number four. So seeing what we just did, we have another good chance at the top, especially if we can keep that going. That ranking for Wayne State's going to continue to creep up. Their
Yep.
ITA overall ranking will continue to creep up. So hopefully that's what happens here. The last but not least sporting event that's going on, Wayne State women's golf. I'm not doing well today. Everybody listening, I'm so sorry. I'm usually on it, but today's apparently not that day. They head to Grove City, Ohio, just outside of Columbus for the Ohio Dominican NC4K Classic. And this didn't sound familiar to me. Sangster got the note on this one. We did not participate in that one last year. So this is a new event for Wayne State, and this is happening on, what would that be, April 7th and April 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, cool one here. Definitely interested to see because it feels like the women's golf team has just been off for an eternity, but it's only been like,
A
probably
week.
a little over a week at this point. But,
Yep.
by the time they get to this event, they've been off for a while. So hopefully, the weather holds up for them. They can get a little bit more practice in than just at a simulator. They can actually get out to a course, do some driving, whatever they do. But hopefully that's the case for them. They can come out here and get a good performance in.
Yeah, because as good as the simulators are, as we experienced, there is nothing quite like being outside, having to deal with the elements, having to deal with the grounds themselves, and
Yeah.
being able to actually be out on the course.
100%. So I'm definitely chomping at the bit myself to be able to make that happen. But yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Golf is going to continue to be a thing. So I've had a lot of fun following this one.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's what we got for that one. And last but
That's all
not
the
least,
that's
Bar
all the Wayne
Madness,
States
Sangster. Let's
we got
talk.
bars.
Yeah, let's talk Bar Madness. We've been doing it for a couple of weeks. This is a couple of years we've been doing this now, and for those who may be listening, or maybe we'll end up making this a little short clip we can put out there. We picked 16 bars right around the Midtown area, right around campus, Midtown. Pick 16 of the favorites, ask for input, figure out who we actually need to get included in there. We'll seed them in a little bit of an order that we kind of think makes sense, so we're not getting two behemoths going against each other in the first round. And then throughout the couple of weeks in March, we will put a poll out and we'll let all of you fine folks listening vote on who you think is the best. Whoever ends up winning that, we go to that bar. We give them a cool little plaque that some of them even have the plaque still up in their bar and not in the trash. Shout out Lexington Bar. Also, they share everything, by the way. They are fantastic. I'm not giving my vote away though. But yeah, so that's what we have going on. And you got the fun fact here that this is a repeat of the 2023 Final Four, which we have Lexington versus Third Street, and we have Old Miami versus Honest John's, four absolute staples in the Midtown area. So not shocked to see them pop up there.
Absolutely, and especially with Third Street, it feels weird because it felt like Third Street was gone a lot longer than it was. Because it must have been that they shut down in like the summer of 2023, and now they came back in the winter of 2024. So good to see them back, not only on the bracket but in real life as well. And yeah, four excellent bars that I think they're all a little different. They all have something different to offer, and if I had my ways, they would all raise a banner and say, "Hey, you got to the Final Four," because yes, these are some of the best four bars in the Midtown area.
Yeah, Lexington's a sweet cocktail bar.
Yep.
Third Street is like an old divey staple that like you
But
just
it's
have
gotten
fun
like,
hanging out at.
and
What's
they've
that?
made it just mm, modern, I think is the word I'm looking for. That after the closure, they did I think, some needed renovations to bring it up to a new level.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Old Miami's a throwback right there. Their backyard is unmatched. And then Honest John's will say it forever. If somebody like that's my favorite, that's easily my favorite restaurant in all of Midtown because anywhere I can go to get an omelet and a beer or a burger and a coffee, just as an example, I don't do that for the record, but I think it's so fantastic that like from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., they're always open. They always have open menu. They'll pour you up whatever you want. And I think it's fantastic. So yeah, four really good places.
Yeah, I'll never forget being able to go there and see the Detroiters premiere day there. That was a lot of fun.
No. Yeah,
I
that
remember getting
was.
kicked.
So yeah. So good fun there. I guess the only other thing, I mean, obviously NCAA March Madness is getting close to wrapping up here. Everybody who's in the bracket pool, some of us are doing well, some people are doing well, some of us are not. I'm currently not doing well because
Same.
yikes, thanks for nothing, Texas Tech. But yeah, so that's wrapping up here pretty soon. Winter, of course, will get some merch from us, and that's what we got, Sangster. Another fun week coming up of a lot of sports. And that's
That's
really
it.
it. So with
Cool.
that, we appreciate, yeah, cool. So yep, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 94 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.